What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I am your host, Colonel, and the most handsome dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and elite tastemaker, Adrian Holmes.
Did you think you were just going to throw that by me and I'm not going to say anything about that?
Hey, that was a name bestowed upon me by the chat, you know? When the chat
Really?
speaks,
When did that happen?
When the chat speaks, you listen, you know? Almost every Thursday night, Angel comes into chat and he's like, looking good, looking handsome, good looking dude.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, Angel, I see how it is.
That's all he does.
He'll come to Garrett's stuff.
He doesn't talk about the games I'm playing. He just talks about how handsome I am and how good looking I am. So,
you know what? It's a nice ego boost. It's a nice ego boost.
That's nice.
You
That's
know?
nice. Lula, one of our mods, she even said, I have nice hair, which I was like,
Hey.
that's funny because it's not. It's pretty wild. I need a haircut. She's like, it's pretty nice. I'm like, cool, great, thank you.
Take it, man.
So, I'll take
As
it.
somebody who has no hair, that compliment is a good compliment. Just take it.
Oh, man. How you doing, Adrian, on this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing all right, man. It's another Monday, come and gone. Doing okay. Yeah, man. I don't really know what else.
Sounds like it, dude. Sounds like your life is just
Life is, man.
tens.
I had to use my brain for the last. That's why we were late doing the show now, is I had to use my brain for a task that I have not done in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I am trying to circle back. I'm trying to regroup. So you got to give me a minute.
Yes. Yeah. It's hard to change gears. I've been in a weird funk lately. I mean, I mentioned it. I was like, my brain's been in such a different place as well. With like right before the show, I was like, it's weird to think that in a week, like next Monday, like I won't have a job. I'll be done. So like, I get it. Where like, I mean, it's a little bit different circumstances, but the idea of like your brain's in over here and it needs to be over here, and it's like the shifting of gears. It's like, all right, let's figure this thing out. Yeah, it's a time right now, you know? It's definitely a time. Now, we were talking about a little bit of news here, not news, but like news for you, an update for you, but right before the show. Is that something you're holding for Whatcha Playing, or is that something you're gonna like shout from the rooftops at the show?
I mean, I can tease it a little. Well, one of
It's
them
up to you.
I can say. The other one I have to tease because it's not here yet, and I've not actually interacted with the item yet. It's still in shipping.
Okay.
So
It's up to you.
it's up to you. I mean, I can at least give it a little bit on the top, right? I recently got a PS5 again.
Mm-hmm.
I got it because it's in the queue for me to play Rebirth because I need to play Rebirth. I'm not going to miss it, right? So I got that. And then also because GTA 6 is going to be a cultural milestone, and you better believe I'm not going to miss that. Okay? So that's why I got that. Also, we'll talk about it in Whatcha Playing, about what else I did, and how excited I am to get the other item. So if you're in our Discord, you already know what it is. But yeah,
It's a miracle.
You'll find out later.
It's a miracle, honestly.
It really is, because I really didn't think I was going to be able to get one, but here we are.
Here we are. Adrian did the thing.
Finally.
Once you reveal what it is, that'll be a part of your introduction on the show. King of video games, elite tastemaker, and blank. You know, purchaser of blank.
I got a good one. Oh, let me write that down before. Go ahead. Keep talking. Do the housekeeping. I got to write this down before I forget it. That's a perfect title.
Today, we're going to be talking about if Hollow Knight Silksong is real. We'll see. We'll talk about it. That was an interesting announcement they made earlier last week. How Knights of the Old Republic is alive and well, apparently. And the end has officially come for WiiU and 3DS as of today. Exactly. So.
Yep. There is no longer a way for us to play Monster Hunter 4. You waited too long. You
waited
goofed.
too long. We talked
Thanks
about it.
a lot, Gary.
We talked about it for like 2 years and never did the thing. And now that's it. It's just done. So sorry, Adrian. I failed you. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smashing, Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome, just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1. You get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. You can get, if you're missing the live stream on Monday evenings, you get the MP3 and video versions right to your email device. I don't know, wherever you get your Patreon stuff, I guess, on your computer, on your phone. They have an app. Download the Patreon app. It works really good. And you can also get Super Later Boys, which episode 6 is up now, which we put out. It technically came out in March. It was a buzzer beater.
Technically it did.
Yeah, this one was called, what was it called? Oh, Out of Work and the State of the Podcast. So if you want to, yeah, we're just kind of, it was a fun little conversation.
Taking stock.
Yeah, it was more on the serious side than the silly side, but it was still fun. It was still good convo.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to hear some, we'll get a little peek behind the curtain. Check that out. Thanks, Lula, for shouting that out in chat. See, it's nice to have mods on our Twitch channel once in a while, because they actually do things. Other than she's yelling at us to play Freebird and wear a hat. Entertain us.
I am wearing a hat.
Adrian's wearing Oh, I got a hat. Hang on. This is Adrian's favorite hat. Check this out.
Don't you have a Kojima hat? Why aren't you wearing that?
There we go.
You have a Bridges hat. Get your Bridges hat.
My Bridges, it's up in my room, which is literally a completely separate building. I am in a barn currently, sir.
Speaking of Bridges, stay tuned.
Okay. All right.
For what you're playing.
Lula says she's going to direct the shows from now on. Okay. She's now our director. I see how it goes. All right. Where was I in the show notes when I got so distracted? Oh, yeah. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. Support us over there. We'll talk more about it later on the show. Huge shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music. Hopefully it's not too loud in your ears right now, because I always forget to turn it down, and it is down. So that's good. If you're enjoying what you're hearing right now, which is my Jack Sriracha and Yate playlist, make sure to check out the show description on YouTube and podcast apps. We got links to their Apple Music and Spotify. Go give them a listen. Add a listen. Add them to your playlist. Listen to them.
That's that hat right there. That's the hat osmosising into your brain, making you dumber. You better take it off.
You know, I'm gonna keep it on just because you said that. But now it's time to check the mail.
Do it.
So let me boot up old Super Gamer Bot here. That's right. We actually have questions this week.
Well, look who it is. Finally decided to do some work around here, huh? Good. Let's get to it.
It wasn't me. Garrett was sick.
All right. Fine. Decided to get work done around here. You're just awfully sassy when we're... Do you know where your pay comes from, Super
I was
Gamerbot?
here. I was ready.
Right.
I just wanted for the record, Gamerbot, okay? Somebody had Fox die for the 15th time.
All right. You know, I ran out of the nanomachine suppressors. Found a new supplier. I should be good to go for a while. All right.
Had to go find Naomi again.
Yeah, but we're good. We're alive and well. We'll see. If I have a coughing fit and fall out of my chair and I don't get back up, please call 911. I'll probably need an ambulance.
Can they make nanomachines for allergies? Because mine are killing me right now.
That would be pretty incredible. Honestly,
just like some that what?
If nanomachines were legit and not nefarious in any way, I would 100% get them. But
oh, of course. Are you kidding?
But the problem is,
imagine you break a bone, dude, and the nanomachines just go straight down to wherever it is and just start sewing that bad boy up right then and there. Are you kidding?
Great. The only problem is they would 100% be used for a nefarious purpose, as seen in Metal Gear Solid. That's like immediately.
You're dealing with mankind.
Like
you're dealing with humans. That's exactly what's going to happen. They are going to poison you.
Doubt about it. All right, Super Gamer Bot, do you mind giving us that first question here? I believe from Sir Prince a lot.
Sir Prince Salad asks, "What's your top 3 favorite cartoons from your youth?"
All right, what are your top 3 favorite cartoons from your youth?
Boy,
that's a tricky one.
Number 1 for me is definitely SpongeBob. That goes without saying. Season 1 through 3, I can practically recite the episodes line for line. That's how ingrained, not only in just like in my memory, but it informed so much of my sense of humor. Just like a lot of those cartoons back in the day really did. To this day, I quote it like without even thinking about it. I'll just say something from it. So
Yeah,
that's definitely number one.
I think that would be on my list as well. Like, again, like out of like definitely one of the more influential ones. Like that one is so high up there. Of like what I feel like it's like you look at the sense of humor of our generation. It's very absurd and just wild, and I think that's what formed a lot of it right there. All those cartoons. If you go back and watch those cartoons now, dude, we were into some wild stuff. Like I just think of like that and like Chowder. That was a good one. Cartoon Network.
See, that one wasn't childhood for me. I was already like pretty grown when it came out, but it's such like it would have fit right in with those cartoons back in the day.
Same here.
It is such good humor.
I was on the older side with Chowder. Like I was like my cousins were into it. I'm like, that's a dumb show. Like my younger cousins. And then one day I sat down and watched it. I'm like, oh, this is actually really funny.
This is hilarious.
And then so then me and my brother started watching at home. And my parents were like, what is this? It's like what your little cousins watch. And I'm like, no, check this out.
No, you don't understand.
And then we watch it. And my parents ended up loving it. Like we loved Chowder. It was so hilarious. Yeah, it was a good one.
Oh man, but from childhood, ooh boy. All
right, Lulu
Batman
in the,
the animated series.
Wait. Lulu in the chat says, "You're a baby, Garrett." Ha 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 ha. I'm pretty sure we're like the same age. I think we talked about that on your stream, Lula. So I mean, you're a baby too, I guess. Let's see. In fact, I think I'm older. I think I'm older than you, is what we figured out. Yeah, Batman the Animated Series. That
phenomenal cartoon. Phenomenal animated series. It's so good. To this day, some of that writing is just whenever I have to convince somebody or like, give them an example, it's always the Mr. Freeze episode. It's such a great episode. Just him recounting his relationship with his wife and, what caused him to come into the life of crime and, Batman sympathizing with him and trying to figure everything. Oh, man. What a great show. Top to bottom.
We have to bring up Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, are you?
Because not only was like the humor great, the animation great, but like it was
terrifying.
It was also absolutely terrifying. Like there's like things I am like irrationally like put me on edge. I won't say I'm scared of, but there's like definitely things that like messed me up a little bit or like mess with me a little bit now as an adult that all stem back to like the absolutely jacked up episodes that they put out.
Do you remember the one with his cousin, that Muriel's cousin that came into town and he was a barber? And he would always say, Courage, you've been really naughty. And he would like curl up and do like this. Oh my God.
So terrifying.
That one was terrifying.
And whenever they mixed like animated stuff with like live action stuff, like there'd be like weird, like almost like clay looking like people and creatures and whatever beasts.
Or when Muriel got possessed.
Yeah. All of it.
Dude,
all of it
that's
just
what a great show. What a great, wild, awful, wonderful show.
I know. It's one of those shows where like it was so good, and then you like when you actually stop and think about it, it's like, man, I am messed up as a human being now as an adult because of like there's so many things that just like really,
but also that show is amazing for what it did.
Like should not have been watched when I was like 6 years old. Like definitely not. Definitely too young for that. Hey Arnold.
Boy.
Hey Arnold was such a good show.
Yes. Nobody ever, well, I'm not gonna say nobody ever talks about it. People definitely talk about it. I have the full series.
I haven't watched it in a minute. It's been a while.
Choked up when the new movie came out and everything got tied up and he found his parents finally. Oh God, what a good show. The episode with Mr. Wynn and his daughter.
It was one of those shows
when he had to give her up.
Like it was fun as a kid because it was still like silly and goofy, but also still had those like hard emotional beats that actually made you like think about things and feel things. It's like, oh,
Like,
this
oh,
isn't
yeah.
just a stupid cartoon. This is like,
I'm learning about life.
yeah, so good. Did you ever watch Angry Beavers?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
That was another staple in our home. Like my parents loved that when we'd sit down and watch Angry Beavers. It just, they thought some of the jokes from that are hilarious. Like to this day, they'll still like quote things from Angry Beavers.
Lula in the chat says PB&J Otter. Lula,
Oh,
I'm about to embarrass myself
I've not thought of that in so long.
to the infinite level. Are you ready? Whenever I have to think about something, I kid you not, way deep in the recesses of my mind, the noodle dance comes on. It comes into my mind when I have to really think hard about something. I am not joking.
I have not thought of PB&J Otter in so long. Like honestly, I had totally forgotten about it until she just said it, and now I'm like, oh my! And I just looked it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, 100%. Watch the crap out of this. I barely remember it, but it's like this weird thing. Like one of those things where like I would have thought it was a fever dream, except for I just found it on the internet.
No, that show was awesome.
Man, there were so many good shows as kids. Like they just don't make shows.
I was
the
just
way they
like,
used to.
how do we nail it down to 3? You can't do that.
Can't do it. I mean, I'm trying to even think because again, there's so many
Rocco.
90s.
Yeah, we didn't even think about
Rocco.
Rocco. Rocco was phenomenal.
I mean, just looking at like Cartoon Network slate with like Powerpuff
Dexter's
Girls,
Lab, Powerpuff
Dexter's
Girls.
Lab, yep. Another Nickelodeon, Wild Thornberrys. Do you ever watch that one? That one was great.
Yeah, it wasn't
I just love
my
Donnie.
favorite,
Donnie
but I
was
respected
great.
it.
He was just so ridiculous.
You want to talk about some great Rocket Power? Rocket Power was awesome.
Oh, Rocket Power is fantastic.
Rocket Power ruled.
I love the intro to that. Like it had such a good like the theme song, like the I don't know.
And they had the one where they actually met Tony Hawk and they got to skate in that glow in the dark skate park. Oh, that was so cool.
Me and my
I never wanted to
cousins-
know how to skate more than that episode, dude.
Me and my cousins would play Rocket Power. Like while we were watching it, we would be at my grandma's house and we'd like throw the cushions off the couch on the floor and then just like run around the room and pretend like we were skateboarding or whatever, riding different like pretending to like grind on the like arm of the couches and stuff, and like really we're just like jumping around and sliding, and we would actually play Rocket Power and pretend we were the different characters. It was so good.
Oh man,
Cat Dog
was good. Cat Dog had a every Blue Moon Cat Dog will have a banger episode, and I love my favorite thing about that show is Winslow, the little mouse that comes out of the hole and bothers him.
Yeah,
Winslow was so funny. That was such a good bit, dude.
Oh my gosh. So I just real quick here, just to kind of like spur my memory a little bit, I typed in 90s cartoons. Roly Poly Oly on Disney. I had totally forgotten about that.
What year did that come on? Because I remember my little brother being more into that than me. I feel like that was a little bit past our time.
It was later 90s. It was 98.
Okay, so
I mean,
no, it might have been me too, because I was only 7 then.
Yeah,
so,
for me, I would have been like 5 or 6.
Because if I remember PB&J and I was 7.
I remember like not necessarily loving Roly Poly Oly the show, but the theme song was fantastic. Yeah. Lula said the same thing in the chat. This theme song was like so good.
Rugrats, absolutely, but only the original run of Rugrats.
Ed, and Eddie.
All Grown Up is okay. Look, okay, Lula brought up Doug. I want to talk about Doug because Doug, a lot of people for some reason disregard that cartoon. It is a phenomenal cartoon. Doug is an excellent show. And everybody always thinks about, oh, well, it's not zany and fun. It's not zany and wacky and stuff like that, so it's not a good show. No, dude. The restraint that they have to show in that, I think, is its strength. I don't know. It's a more calm, thoughtful cartoon, I guess you could say. Like, it definitely had its fantastical moments, but excuse me. But I don't know. I really dug it.
Doug was great. That was one, like when that came on, that was probably one of those like my parents would come and watch too. Like there's like those few staple shows where like, oh, this is like a household show that we watch together. I think that was one of those. So that was a good one.
Also, I got to shout out a couple because of my old man. The original Transformers.
There we go.
Absolutely adore the original Transformers. Thundercats. was also another staple in our household.
Okay.
There's one more that I cannot think of from that era. I don't think it was He-Man. It was probably something else. But I don't know, man. There's like we could pretty much do a whole show just about that. So I don't let me get carried away.
Yeah, this is crazy. I just keep finding new ones. Like I just scrolled over and I was like, oh, Little Bill.
Gargoyles.
Little Bill was so good. Like that was late 90s. Like I was like kind of almost on the edge aging out of it, but like that was great. The Mask cartoon. We love that. I remember as a kid watching like the actual Mask movie, which I was way too young to be watching. And
I was going to say, what were you doing watching that?
And then watching the animated show because we loved it so much. That's okay. So I have a scar on my forehead. So this right here, it kind of looks like a wrinkle, but when I smooth my head out, it stays. So that's a scar there. I got that scar from cracking my head open on a glass coffee table in our living room, pretending to be the Mask. Because I love that. Like I started spinning around and dancing, and like, you know, somebody stop me, you know, and then like tripped and fell, cracked my head on the corner of a glass coffee table, shattered the glass coffee table, cut my head open. I was bleeding all over the place, and to this day I have this little Harry Potter
table
scar.
Stopped you.
Somebody stop me. The table's like, I got you. Hold my beer.
Ula said Kablam. Shout out to Kablam. Action League Now, Life with Loopy, all those different segments on there.
Nicholas McMath over on YouTube says Kids Next Door, growing up.
You want to talk about one of the most creative shows? Kids Next Door, dude. Some of the stuff that they came up with, that, man. We got to talk about video games. There's too many.
Is this just a Super Later Boys episode where we like reminisce?
That would be the next
this?
one. I am down.
Yeah, I was going to talk.
We might have to have Lula on that one.
Yeah, there we go. Our first VTuber on a podcast.
We had to figure out how to make it work.
Do talk about 90s cartoons and movies. I've even just scrolled down and was like, oh man, like the Fern Gully is on here, Quest for Camelot, like all the Scooby-Doo movies, James and Giant Peach, Space Jam. Like these are just like random ones that are popping up here on this Google search. And I'm like, Page Master? That's not animated. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about Page Master. There was a little bit of animation in that, I guess. Remember Page Master?
Did you ever see, and this will be the last thing because I'm pretty sure people are tired of us talking about it. Have you ever seen the movie We're Back? A Dinosaur Story?
Yes.
It's amazing. It is so good.
I mean, it's probably been like, I don't know, like almost 25 years since I've seen it.
With John Goodman in the lead role. It's so good, dude. Find it and watch it, dude. The animation in that movie is so gorgeous. But what do you expect?
Oh man, the Pebble and the Penguin.
Right. We gotta talk about wait.
Rover Dangerfield was great. Did you ever watch Rover? It was basically as Rodney Dangerfield, but as a dog, and it was great. As a kid, it was my first introduction to Rodney Dangerfield. That was just right up your alley. It was right up my alley. No respect.
A comic from the 70s turned into a dog. Yeah,
that
appeals to young Garrett.
So good. Nicholas McMath.
Well, now that everybody's gone.
Yeah, now that everyone's gone. No, our YouTube's popping off right now. Nicholas McMath says, I love Gargoyles as a kid. Brother and him stayed up late and watched it. He also said, movie scares me. I don't know what he's referring to, but he said something that we said scared him. Oh, man.
Oh, I was going to say, because there was a Gargoyle. It wasn't a feature film, but there was a Gargoyles movie, I believe. You know how they did like the ones that would go straight to Disney Channel?
Freakazoid. All right. Yeah, this is a Super Later Boys episode. So stay tuned to our Patreon.
It's going to be like a 4-hour Super Later Boys.
We're just going to keep talking about shows and come with our own memories, and that's going to be so much fun. All right. Let's move on to this next question here. Sorry, I got to find Super Gamer Bot. Hey, Super Gamer Bot.
It went
What's the next question?
Carrie asks, what is your favorite video game soundtrack?
That's right. Carrie asks, what's our favorite video game soundtracks?
That's soundtrack or tracks?
It says soundtrack. It's singular, but Sir Prince-Law also asked for 3 TV shows and we gave about 80. So
That's fair because I can do the same here.
Our track record isn't looking very good.
If I had to say all time 100% favorite, it's got to be Earthbound for me. Okay. I think Earthbound is just a masterpiece when it comes to a video game soundtrack. I don't know how he did it, but Etoy perfectly captured feeling and made it into, I know like, oh, that's what music is. Like, no, you don't understand. Like whatever you would think, like whatever your brain is processing as you're doing an action or going to a place or whatever in that game, it was turned into music form for that game. It's just like, oh man, this is exactly what this instance or this place or this action it needs, and it fits into this game's world extremely well. I adore that soundtrack. Unfortunately, the vinyl is far too expensive for me right now. It is on my list to get, but man, what a fantastic game and what a fantastic soundtrack.
I have never played that game, so I haven't heard the soundtrack, but that's one of those that's on my list that like I need to play at some point.
Real talk,
I feel like
I would bring back Book Club just to force you to play it. It's that good.
All right. I'm already playing Kingdom Hearts 2 because
I know, but
you're
I'm just
making
saying.
me do it. But it's not.
Well, I'm not making you do that. No, that was democratically elected,
no, it
sir.
was. No, Earthbound is on my list though. I was like, it's one of those like I need to play before I die because everyone talks about it and that whole series, and this is the controversy with Mother 3 not coming to the US still and all this stuff. So it's like, man, it'd be cool to get into that series at some point. For me,
it's so good.
I think my 2 favorite soundtracks.
Which Metal Gear?
So it's which Metal Gear? It's tricky for me. So while the one is a newer game I've played, thanks to you, Chrono Trigger. I love the soundtrack from that. But I feel like it's tied with, for me, it's tricky. It is a Metal Gear game. You are correct. But so here's the deal. Metal Gear Solid 1 has just like these iconic themes, overall themes that like to this day, I could just like start humming or whistling and be like, yep, that is the music for Psycho Mantis, and that's the music for Sniper Wolf, and this is the music for when you're in the warehouse level 2B or whatever. Like I know all, because like there was such distinct themes across all of it and they all were perfect and so good. But just as far as like listening pleasure, Metal Gear Solid 2 has the best, because it's just like this jazz, like oh man, like I love it when you're just like sneaking around. It's like dun 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 dun, like the saxophone and stuff in the background. Like, oh yeah, get it, bum 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 bum. Oh, I love Metal Gear Solid 2 just because it's like, oh, this is just like some smooth jazz going on right here. Like so good. So I probably, if it was like most iconic to me, I think the 2 soundtracks that I would tie, it would be, so Chrono Trigger and Metal Gear Solid 1 are up there for me. With like, all right, those are just so good. And Chrono Trigger is a newer one. Like that's right. That's one that I wasn't even on my radar until like, what was that? Like a year or so ago, I finally played that for a book club, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
There's a reason people talk about it.
Yeah. Very, very good. The only true Tallulah over on YouTube says, I love the Final Fantasy soundtrack. Yes. I mean, all
absolutely.
of them. But yeah,
all
like
of them.
they're all so stinking good. Like that's what I've been going through, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth here, and then Remake even a couple years ago. So good. But
oh man.
Yep.
Especially when they started getting orchestrated too.
Yeah.
Just some of those pieces are so, man. Uematsu,
genius. Absolute genius.
Sorry.
All right. Well, I think that's probably good for now. We should probably talk about some video games today, huh?
We are technically.
We are talking video games. We are technically talking video games. You are right, Adrian. Real quick, one last one. Buzzer beater. Nicholas McMath over on YouTube says Persona 5 soundtrack I really love.
Oh, baby.
That's that is I need to finish playing the game, but what I've played, the soundtrack is very good. So I need to finish the game
start to finish
to
bangers.
give my final judgment on that, but that one is also very good what I've heard.
A nasty soundtrack. Woo.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Super Gamer Bot, for reading those questions off for us. If you want to leave your questions for the show, make sure you can send them in through social media, shoot us a DM, or the most fun way, the most entertaining way, because you don't just get to send us a question, you get to experience Super Gamer Boys in all of its glory. Join us over at supergamerboys.com/discord. That's right. Join us over at our Discord server where you can submit questions over there. There's a channel called Submit to Mailbag. Drop your questions in there. We'd love to have them, love to answer them on the show. And if we don't answer them here, then, we'll probably talk about them on a Super Later Boys at some point. Or we might answer them here and still talk about them on a Super Later Boys is what it sounds like. Because that just spurred all sorts of nostalgia there. So, thank you, Lula, for spamming that in the chat. That's right. See, it's nice having a mod who actually does something once in a while. Doesn't go on vacation in Australia for like a month. Anyways, it's now time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
I hate that Discord sometimes cuts you off there. I know in the final recording on YouTube and podcast, you guys will hear that in all of its glory. But no, Lula. So here's the deal. For any newcomers here on the show, it is nerdy nudes. That is the correct, but you're spelling it incorrectly. It's NEWDS. So there you go. With
it'd be a much different show with the other.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This first news story. Let me flip over to that. Then you guys can actually see the first news story. This first news story comes to us from Alex Stedman over at IGN. And they write, Hollow Knight Silksong got an Xbox store page on April Fool's Day and fans don't know how to feel. It's hard to overstate how eagerly Hollow Knight fans have been awaiting its sequel Silksong 5 years after it was initially announced, and now they got a little bit of hope in the form of an Xbox store page. Today, with a little fanfare, Hollow Knight Silksong got an official listing on Microsoft website. There's no release date, no trailer, no pre-orders, or anything of that sort outside of wish listing. But it's something, right? Right? Oh, and one more catch. It just so happens to be April Fool's Day, which has some fans treating this mysterious listing with a healthy amount of skepticism. Today, I will not be fooled by Silksong release dates. I will not be fooled by Silksong announcements of any kind, wrote Twitch Director of Community Marketing and Production, Mary Kish, on Twitter. My head is clear and my heart is open. You cannot destroy me. I've prepared my soul for today, you rat bastards. To be clear, there's no indication that this is some kind of cruel April Fool's Day joke by developer Team Cherry or Microsoft, but it also doesn't tell us a whole lot about where the highly anticipated sequel is. Game can be listed on the Xbox Store for any number of reasons, including routine back-end work, and some listings go up well in advance of release. Silksong has also had listings on several other stores for some time now, including PSN and the Nintendo eShop. With a game as anticipated as Silksong, any crumb of information will spur all kinds of speculation. Even Xbox Portfolio Senior Content Planning Manager Nick Zuklich ever so innocently highlighted the listing on his own Twitter. This goes on to mention other people's tweets here, but there is an update here as well. As some pointed out on both Reddit and Twitter, the Xbox page does have an ESRB rating, leading to speculation that it at least must be in some sort of playable state, because if the ESRB rating board can rate it, that means they can play it. ESRB raters do not play through games during the rating process for a variety of reasons, instead relying on actually I take that back. However, it's worth noting that per the ESRB's website, they do not play through games during the rating process for a variety of reasons, instead relying on disclosures from the developers. So apparently they don't play through things. That's interesting. I thought they would, because the developers could say anything, right?
Right.
I don't know. That seems weird. I don't think that's 100%. But either way, yeah. The fact that there's an ESRB rating, it's gotten rated in other countries as well. I forget, there's some other country, I was reading a different article, it's not mentioned in this one. There's another article I was reading where they even said like, oh, it was rated in such and such country. There's a certain country where when it gets rated there, it usually means it's pretty close to coming out. And there is, I feel like I remember seeing an article, like, was it like
the problem with that though is you cannot, especially around that time frame, take anything that you see seriously around the April Fool's timeline.
100%. It's definitely poor timing, which I'm sure was intentional. That was the point of it, but the fact that it's up and has a rating and all that, like, it's still there as far as I know, like, it has to be real, right? Like if it was an April Fool's joke, it would have been gone by now. Let me see.
That's fair. But also, it has been over 5 years at this point since they announced that game. And that leads me to believe that at some point they must have started over. Right?
Oh,
That's the only thing that makes sense.
I'm sure they've gone back to the drawing board, a lot of times. Like, it's something where they got to the end and realized, because they must have, because this originally was supposed to be DLC initially, right? And then it got so big, they're like, shoot, we need to make this into a whole game. We should just make it
its own game.
And so,
I think at some point in that development, they, had some critical, or maybe they had like an epiphany and just said, no, we gotta do this over. We gotta do this way,
Right.
Because I don't believe, well, I'm not gonna say it didn't, because there's a lot of games that took a long time, but it would be highly surprising that the original Hollow Knight took, more time to make than Silksong did, I feel like.
Do you know how long?
You don't think so?
Do you know how long the original one took?
I don't know off the top of my head, but that is why Google exists. Let's see.
Yeah, it is. Time to Google things. Yeah, I don't know. Because how long has it been since the last one came out? The last one came out, it's been like 5-6 years now, right?
So the original Hollow Knight took 3 years.
3 years.
But that was also when they had a skeleton team, when they were just like, oh, the original, Team Cherry. But I'm sure, of course, with the success of Hollow Knight, they have obviously scaled up. They had to have in staff. So is this game going to be that much bigger than the original Hollow Knight that it would need to take more time than the original, you think?
I mean, I think what it is, though, is not that it's going to be so much bigger. It's that they probably spent a few years working on it as DLC. And then we're like, shoot, we got to kind of take what we have and semi-start over. Yeah, pivot big time to turn it into a full-on game. And that's where the issues probably came in, because it was like, all right, because they don't want to release it now, and people be like, this thing's half-baked. Like, this isn't what like. This feels like DLC. It should have just been DLC. And so I think that's might be where it could take longer, because they probably spent 2 or 3 years just on the DLC, and it got to the point where like, oh, this is a problem. Like, we need to do a pivot here, and so yeah, I feel like at that point it almost like the clock reset. So they might have only realistically been working on this as a full game for 3 or 4 years now. Like, not maybe closer to even like 2.5 or 3. I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like that's good. Like, the fact that it's taken so long, that's what I wonder where the hang up could have come from. But I don't know. So I never finished Hollow Knight, but I got pretty deep into it when I first got my Steam Deck. That was like the first game I fired up randomly when I got my Steam Deck, and got into it hard until I got stuck in an area I don't think I was supposed to go to, and I got trapped in there. I can't get out now.
Are you sure you're trapped though?
Because I've gone to the exits, quote unquote, and I try to get out. At least the exits I've found, and most of them are like things that are out of reach. And I think at one point I was even talking with Eddie about it. I was like, hey, yeah, like I can't get out. He's like, oh, just use this ability and you should be able to like plop, 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 get out of there. I'm like, I don't have that. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, I don't know how you don't have it. Like, so I did things out of order apparently in that game. I skipped to places where
I guess, but games have been letting you do that for the longest. Super Metroid lets you do that. If you were good enough, you could break sequence and stuff like that. So
there might be a way to get out, but I have not figured it out. And so that's why I ended up putting it down and not finishing up. But what I played of it, it's a gorgeous game.
It's a phenomenal game.
The soundtrack in that is great. I love the art style. The enemies are fun. The fights are fun.
Hard as nails.
I love how it is hard as nails, but also just enough give to where, I don't know. I feel like, again, I'm a bad gamer. You guys all know this. And I was able to, beat up quite a few of those guys. I was like, okay, I can actually do this. You learn the patterns and get in the rhythm and figure it out. Okay, I can actually do this. This is fun. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, hang on. Selkie's in chess. Sequence breaking is very commonplace anymore, but there are odd moments where it can break the game. Yeah, that's what I just don't know for sure. Without totally doing a bunch of research on it. There might be a way out of where I am, but I haven't found it. That's for sure. Or if there is, it's in an area that's too hard for me at this point, where it's I need to be a pro level gamer at Hollow Knight. I need Eddie to get in my save and help me get out of this area just so I can get that ability that I'm missing. But this would be incredible. So let's just say this is real.
Okay.
What's the chance that it comes out the end of this year?
I think if they're putting up product pages for it, it likely would have to be ready to go, right? Because it tells me that these companies are putting stock into the game, right? Because when you put up a product page, you have to pay for that listing, because you're going to have to pay for whatever transactions go through, right? Through whatever payment processing service that you use. And then you also have to pay for that extra server space to host whatever file is going to be there. So if they're going to put up the money to do this listing, they must be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, or something must be coming through.
Yeah.
And if it's Xbox, it makes more sense for them, because they're getting ready to have, or there's rumors that they're going to be having an event here coming pretty soon around the Summer Game Fest time, June, I think it is.
Yeah.
So what better way to start off summer than to be we have the world premiere, the world premiere of Silksong, and we have a release date.
I mean, well, so it sounds like too, at least from this news article, it sounds like Xbox is the last one to get a store page. So yeah, and from what I can tell, Switch, Steam, GOG, Humble Store, and PlayStation have had them for a couple years now. And just now Xbox is finally getting it. So it's almost like the final piece in the Infinity Gauntlet. All right, Xbox has finally made a listing. I think that checks out. I could totally see an announcement happening this year with Summer Game Fest here, or even if it's a separate event that they're doing, because didn't they do the initial reveal? Wasn't it them?
I don't think so. I think there wasn't a direct.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, but you know what? Here's okay. Let's circle back. Over under 50%. Is Silksong going to be on Game Pass day one? I'm saying over.
You think it'll pop up there?
I think so. I think if Xbox gets the new reveal, right?
Uh-huh.
And they get the date, I think it's going to say it's going to be on Game Pass day one. I think they need that more than the other two do. They need that haymaker, that reason to get Game Pass. And you already know the tidal wave of people who are looking to play this game. So if you tell them, oh, you can play this on Game Pass and then get a whole bunch of other games along with it to play, sounds like a win-win-win to everybody.
I think Xbox will fight for it. They want it. I think they're probably frothing at the mouth to get a hold of it. If I was Team Cherry, I wouldn't, because I think they could make more money. They could make more money because there's so many people dying to get it. People are gonna buy it. And
no, I'm not saying exclusive to Game Pass.
I know.
I'm just saying
when they put stuff on when developers put games on Game Pass, a lot of times it's kind of from what I understand. Obviously, I've never dealt with Xbox and sold a game to Game Pass, but it's kind of It's not always.
It's a finite amount.
It's a finite amount, and it's not always a great deal. It could be a good deal, but not like great. From I feel like, imagine if it just is on Xbox, and like people pay full dollar for it because they've been dying for it for a long time.
Yeah.
Actually,
but
hang on, I have an update.
What?
Look what I just found. This is on Hollow Knight's official website. I just went to hollow-knight-silksong.com. This is Team Cherry's official website for Silksong. If you scroll down, it says Steam, GOG, Humble Store, Nintendo Switch, PS5, and it already has the Game Pass logo.
There we go.
So they got it.
There
I don't
we
know.
go.
I just feel like if I was Team Cherry, I would have held out, because instead of getting whatever this finite number is from Xbox or Game Pass, they could have been getting the $60 a piece for the whatever, thousands and thousands of people who would most definitely buy it,
Well, see, I would push back on that though,
unless
because
they got a
also,
sweet deal from Xbox. Like that's
what I was gonna
that's
say.
the bargaining chip. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, number one, that, but also number two, if I'm Team Cherry, I would do the Game Pass, because I think it's been reported that Hollow Knight definitely does the most number. I think it does the most numbers on Switch, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if I know the majority of my money is coming from the Nintendo ecosystem, like we're gonna do numbers over there, then I'm just gonna put it on Game Pass here, because if not as nearly as many people are gonna buy it on Game Pass or buy it on Xbox outright, a bunch of people already have Xbox or have Game Pass, so they, you may not get sales, but you're gonna get, a crazy number of users playing your game. So.
Yeah.
I would put it on Game Pass, because I know the majority of my money is going to come from the eShop, and likely, a good amount is coming from PC and PS4. But Switch is really where Hollow Knight shines as far as sales are concerned. So yeah, I would put it on Game Pass. As long as Microsoft's not like I know they don't have like a non-compete, of course. You would be a maniac to sign that. Like, oh, if you put it on Game Pass, you can't put it anywhere else. Psych.
Yeah,
absolutely not happening.
No, I just hope they got what they're worth, because my fear is like they make a deal to get on Game Pass and kind of get screwed over. Like, oh, we could have made more money if we sold it piecemeal on Xbox or whatever. So it's like, just based off of the name itself, it's like I hope they got what they're due, because they're
absolutely. And I think Xbox knows that too. Like, this has evolved into a megaton game. Like, they can negotiate that kind of price just based on how big Hollow Knight has gotten, and they know how anticipated that the Hollow Knight sequel Silksong is. Really, honestly, that might be as close to a blank check example of a Game Pass game, I think, that you can get in recent memory.
Do you know how big Team Cherry is?
I assume not very, or at least they weren't very when the first Hollow Knight came out. But like I said before, I think they probably expanded greatly between then and now.
Throw a number out there. How many people work at Team Cherry?
I'd say when the original Hollow Knight came out, maybe 10 to 12. And now I think they're probably around 100.
I'm going to read this article from Game Rant by Cameron Swan. This is the middle of the article. I'm not starting at the top. This is about in the middle. Mm-hmm. But here's a headline. Here's the heading for this paragraph here. Actually, I'm not going to read that. I'm just going to read this. An indie developer based in Adelaide, South Australia, Team Cherry currently consists of just 3 full-time employees.
Really? Oh, full-time. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure
they probably have hundreds of assistants and things like that. So.
Maybe. Let's see what this. Ari Gibson is one of the Team Cherry's co-directors alongside William Pellin. The first Hollow Knight originally stemmed from a game jam that Gibson and Pellin participated in, with Gibson taking on the role of developer and Pellin taking on the role of artist. From there, Gibson and Pellin joined forces with Jack Vine, the studio's lone coder, and Dave Causey, the studio's former technical director who left the company in 2017. Of course, Team Cherry had a little help along the way with the first Hollow Knight, with Shark Jump aiding in the distribution and PR for the game, and composer Christopher Larkin forging Hollow Knight's incredible soundtrack. But now, just Ari Gibson, William Pellin, and Jackie Vine are working on Hollow Knight Silksong, meaning that one of the most anticipated games of all time is being worked on by a team of just 3 people. Therefore, development time is understandably longer than it might be for a larger team.
It's not just 3 people. It's 3 full-time people.
But
they are definitely being assisted.
Dare call Cameron Swan a liar?
I do. Well, I don't call him a liar. He's telling the truth. There are 3 full-time employees working on Hollow Knight, 100%. But a game of this caliber at this point, definitely, they are definitely, getting support from other teams and entities. There's no way they're not.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, even like they said, like for distribution and PR, they're getting help. But
right,
I mean, there's a chance.
Even development. There's
a chance for the development of the game. They might just keep it between the 3 of them. Like if they care about the vision that much. I mean, there's like, I get that. Like if there's a project I'm working on where it's like, oh, I have a very specific vision. I want it to look a certain way. Like it's either going to be just me working on it or like 1 or 2 other people. Like if there's something that you don't want to screw up, like you keep it with as few people as possible. Like I get that mindset. I don't know if it's necessarily a good mindset, but I could see that. I don't know. I trust it.
If it is 3 people, then it is. Now it's understandable why it's taking so long. If it's just 3 people,
right.
So that might all add up and it might all check out and track. So we'll have to see. I don't know. If it is, I'd be I would be very surprised if it is just 3 people in active development on that game.
We will see. That is correct. But I think it's now time to move on to the second news story. This next news story comes to us from Game Rant, written by Dominic Bosniak. I'm going to say there's some weird little symbols and doohickeys going on in his name, so I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, but I did my best. New Knights of the Old Republic remake rumor may be good news for Xbox fans. So kind of to catch you up to speed here. Earlier last week, there was someone from Saber Interactive came out and was like, hey, KOTOR is alive and well. Because if you didn't catch the news before that, Saber Interactive... Is
that those guys that botched Battlefront?
Saber, I don't think, worked on Battlefront, right?
Who was it? Oh, it was Aspire.
Well, Aspire is a sub-studio under Saber, I think. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those guys that botched Battlefront.
But they recently just bought themselves out from, or they got bought out from, what's the big group that we all hate? Embracer, yeah. So they were under Embracer until just like a week or so ago. They finally just got bought, like, they're gone. They're not under Embracer anymore. And so that's why the news came out. They could find it because under Embracer is just kind of getting like, nope, don't talk about it, And finally they're free now. And they're like, it's alive and well. We're still working on it, which is interesting. You think, because I think we speculated when that got announced. I want to say we talked about it on the show and we even said like, oh, any projects that they had with Disney, it's probably dead. Like there's probably little chance. And then here it is. Like apparently it's not. Disney's still trusting them even though they're not with Embracer anymore, which is surprising.
I don't know, man. Trusting them is a big word, bro. Like trusting them after how badly this Battlefront port came out. Like, am I really trusting you with a KOTOR remake? KOTOR, one of the best Star Wars games ever.
Well,
I don't know.
Again, like
if I'm Disney, I'm looking at you weird, man. I'm looking at you weird, bro.
Battlefront though, that was specifically what was it called? Why can't I remember the name of the? We just said it. What was the studio that did the Battlefront? Aspire. I think they're
also heading up KOTOR.
I think it's still kind of separate though. I don't know because like I just brought up a list of Saber Interactive games on Wikipedia, and like they don't have Star Wars Battlefront listed even on here. They have like the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine games announced. They got Kingdom Come Deliverance. They got Gloomhaven. Really not the Evil Dead the game.
Right. Well, because those are
No.
Aspire.
No.
Well, the
no,
Battlefront ones are Aspire, right?
Right.
So they wouldn't be on the Saber page. They'd be on the Aspire page.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I think they're separate teams. Like they're connected, but they're separate team development teams.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you because I thought you said that Saber was over Aspire, which means that they are still responsible.
Let me see. Aspire Studio. Let me just fact check this.
It's just like how when you're the CEO of the company, you may not have anything what going on in the mailroom, but you're still responsible for it. You know, type of deal, type beat.
Okay, so Aspire was acquired by Embracer Group in February of 2021
Right.
and placed within Saber Interactive until its divestment in March of 2024. So when Saber just left, Aspire is still part of it. So Aspire didn't go with Saber.
Oh, okay.
So they are placed under them until, or in their group or whatever you want to call it. But now that Saber left, Saber's just Saber and Aspire stayed with Embracer. So they're the same but different, and mostly different. But like Saber worked on like Halo 4, Halo 3 ODST, back in the day, the Crisis Remastered, Crisis 3, all those. Like they've done a lot. Halo 3, all the remasters for Halo 3 and Halo 2 Anniversary. So they've done some decent stuff here and there. They're usually like a help studio, it seems like. Like they helped on like NBA Playgrounds and Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn.
What a track record.
What a track record. Anyways, let's get to this article. The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake may end up being a day one release on Xbox consoles. That possibly has been suggested by newly emerged rumor from a reputable with quotations, let's say, industry insider who offered some new insights into Sony's current views on the KOTOR reimagining project. Blah, 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 blah. Let's scroll on to where the actual news story is here.
I was going to say, let's get into the meat.
Several reports of the project being dead have emerged throughout 2023. Additionally, industry insider Jeff Grubb has repeatedly predicted that the game would never come out. But now that Embracer has sold Saber, the latter promptly assured fans that Star Wars KOTOR Remake is still happening, describing it as alive and well. Grubb subsequently took to Twitter to clarify that his sources who suggested the opposite were all from the Sony side of things. Elaborating on that point, the insider said he understands Sony wants nothing to do with KOTOR Remake any longer, which is why he assumed that the game was already dead. So Grubb comes out a few months ago and says, "Hey, KOTOR's dead." Didn't cite any sources, and now that this KOTOR's alive and well, he's backtracking a little bit, but kind of like, "Oh, well, my sources were Sony, and they sound like it's dead to them," kind of thing. Because originally it was supposed to be a PS5 timed exclusive. That was the whole thing. It's PS5 exclusive. So, yeah, Grubb's comments hence imply that Sony has dropped out of the project and will not be publishing it, which ostensibly means its timed PlayStation exclusivity is out of the picture as well. This turn of events doesn't necessarily guarantee that the game is now meant to be a day one multi-platform release, not least because each additional port raises the project's resource requirements, but it does make such scenario possible, thus potentially being good news for Xbox fans. So there's no hard, solid, fast, facts that this could be an Xbox exclusive, but having some fun little speculation here. What if they come and snag this up? Like, all right, Saber's free now from the clutches of Embracer Group. The original Knights of the Old Republic was a Xbox exclusive. Like, man, what if they come back and get the remake here, Xbox, at least timed exclusive? Do you think it's
good optics, right? It's good optics because, like you said, oh man, when you think Knights of the Old Republic, you think Xbox because that's what everybody associates the original game with. So to come back, all these years later and be like, yo, Knights of the Old Republic is back with Xbox, just like the good old days.
Yeah.
But the issue that I have with this, if I'm anybody else but Sony, is the fact that Sony walked away from it, right? They saw something with this development that was so troubling that they washed their hands. I don't want anything to do with it, and dropped it. And the game went dormant for a long time too because of development issues. So that makes me wary of what exactly is going on with this project, that for some reason this team or this company or whoever, they can't all get on the same page and make something happen. So that's what makes me kind of cautious if I'm Phil,
Yeah.
you know, looking at this potential pickup here, because it could burn me like it burned Sony.
I wonder, this is pure speculation because I don't have any insider knowledge. I am not an industry insider like Jeff Grubb is. Surprise. But Aspire, when Embracer picked them up, they grouped them with Saber Interactive. So I assume there was times where there's a little crossover. They'd help each other out on each of the projects. And the rumor before, when everyone thought it was canceled, the rumor was, oh, well, there was issues where like previews were seen by the higher ups, the suits, and they weren't happy, so it got shut down. What if, though, obviously a lot of the rumors and things and leaks that we hear, it's all extremely vague because, you know, people don't want to get outed, they don't want to get in trouble, get someone else in trouble. What if the previews they were seeing weren't even for Knights of the Old Republic? Maybe it was like this joint thing where they went in like, hey, Saber/Aspire group, show me what you got. And what they were actually ticked off about was Battlefront. And they still continued to launch it anyways. And, you know, and maybe KOTOR is great. Or maybe, I mean, there could have been issues too with like story-wise or whatever. But like, I don't know. What if there's a chance?
But Sony's not pulling out over a bad Battlefront.
Or what if there's chances where they just like they weren't just or maybe they weren't happy with some of the work, and what if the bad work was stuff that Aspire was doing? Like maybe the stuff that Saber was doing was good, but the stuff like the projects, and so now that Saber's out, maybe they've just completely like
bad enough to put it on indefinite hiatus like that though.
Yeah, I mean, and now that Saber's out, they can just like go to the control panel, search for all the files that Aspire worked on, hit delete to start over. It's like Control A, delete.
Well, if that's the case, then this is a PS6 game now. There's no way it's making it.
It's
before.
not a PlayStation game. It's an Xbox Series.
Well, I'm just saying it's a next gen game. It's a next gen game at this point.
I don't know. I just wonder if it was like they weren't happy. Like what the things they weren't happy about was more specifically like Aspire's work or something. Because looking at
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because looking at Saber's track record, they don't make like 10 out of 10 bangers, but they don't make trash either. So
right, Aspire the same cannot be said for, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to think.
Given their recent track record.
Yeah, what are some of the games that Aspire's made? Because I thought they were known for good stuff, but then like with the new stuff. So apparently, so they put out Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which was bad, but literally the same year, like 2024, they put out the Tomb Raider 1-3 remaster, and that was actually, from what I heard, really good.
That's remastering though. That's not making the game. I mean, I guess Aspire isn't.
I mean, that's what they did with the Battlefront. Was supposed to be a remaster, and they botched that. But then the Tomb Raider, they killed it.
But Tomb Raider was already there, and they just like KOTOR is a different beast, right? You're not just up-resing the original game like you are.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if like the bad stuff that was turned PlayStation off was Aspire's work. And not so much like the actual direction of the game, but more like maybe they saw some stuff like, wow, this is looking like not good. Like, what is going on? Because I'm just looking at Aspire's track record. They did like the Nintendo Switch port. They mostly do ports and remasters. So like all the Star Wars ports and remasters they've worked on. So Force Unleashed, Republic Commando.
Oh, did they work on I was getting ready to say Republic Commando,
which sucks. That was broken on Switch.
Right.
They did the Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2 ports for Switch. They did the pod racing. They've done all Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, all that stuff. Like doesn't look like they really do original games from what I can even see. They did the Mac port for Borderlands Handsome Collection. They're just a port. They're a port studio. Aspire is.
So we're trusting this studio to remake KOTOR from the ground up?
They were originally when it was Aspire/Saber, but now that Saber's out, Saber's taking it.
I'd rather just have Saber do it. Yeah.
Well, and that's it. That's what's happening now. Now that Saber's out, Saber's taking over. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
so essentially the game is restarting, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it sounds like the game's restarting in better hands. And Jeff, I guess with all that to say, to answer the question, this could be a good news for Xbox, but it could also be a flag, or not a flag, a signal to PlayStation to be like, hey, come check us out again. Now that we're split off and working on our own and doing our own thing, we're not under the oppressive Embracer Group and working with a barely competent studio, Aspire. Like it could very well continue to be a PlayStation exclusive if they can, over the next 6 months to a year, show that like, hey, we know what we're doing. Like Saber,
I feel
we
like
know what we're doing.
The damage is done. I think the bridge is already burned with Sony.
Yeah.
Because if Sony goes back and says, actually, we're gonna, it's not a good look for them to go running back and be like, actually, we are gonna put this out again.
Well, Sony has never officially said anything though. Sony never said they officially backed out. That's all insider information from Jeff Grubb. So,
it is, but they also took the trailer down and the game went on, hold and all this different kind of stuff that they basically were saying it without saying it, without having to formally say it. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But again, that man, all we got was that 10-second teaser, and I was like, I'm in.
And it wasn't even gameplay. It was just a
cinematic
pre-rendered cutscene.
Yeah, like a lightsaber lighting up in this foggy, moist room.
Yeah, this game ain't coming out for some time. If it comes out.
If it comes out, we'll see. All right, this last news story here comes to us from VGC, written by someone over there. Tom Ivan. There it is. Online play for Wii U and 3DS will shut down on Monday. That is today.
Oh no, you're supposed to keep reading while I did that.
Oh, I thought it was like a moment of silence, kind of. Nintendo will be shutting down online play for 3DS and Wii U early next week. Nintendo already closed the eShops for both systems back in March 2023, but players have been able to continue using online services in games such as online multiplayer and rankings. Once this ends next week, however, games will only be playable offline. This will particularly impact games with heavy emphasis on online play, such as the original Splatoon on Wii U. Players will still be able to play games offline once online services end, according to Nintendo. It has also that doesn't work. Pokemon Bank and Poké Transporter will retain online functionality, presumably since they're still used by players and use online connectivity as their central mechanic. Nintendo has also stressed that this only relates to in-game online functionality, meaning it will still be possible to download update data and re-download purchased software and DLC from the 3DS and Wii U shops for the foreseeable future. Okay. Closure of the Wii U and 3DS eShops last year effectively made around 1,000 digital-only eShop games disappear for good. In quotation marks, for good. We all know.
They disappeared all right.
It also meant the termination of the final systems to support the Virtual Console service. Now, the only retro games provided by Nintendo are the ones available on Switch Online's various apps. Rest in peace, online play for Wii U and 3DS.
Oh boy, this is such a heartbreaker. How should I put this? This is multifaceted, right? I understand, in time, you do have to move on. I get it. Old, how should I say, old stores and old servers, they become outdated, they become less secure. They're more of a hassle to upkeep. They cost a lot more, in the long run over time. So I understand that aspect of it, right? But knowing that was going to happen because they've done it before for the Wii, I feel like they should have put more effort into researching something or some method to make a more modular store or a more modular way to hook servers into this so that, in time, like for the Switch, right? It's already 7 years old. So I say they're probably going to start shutting stuff down in the next 5 years or so, right? That's usually around what time they normally do it. Mm-hmm. They should have like I don't know how to put it. almost like a legacy server farm somewhere where they unplug from the fancy expensive one that they are currently using and then plug in access to their legacy server where you can still play online. You know, it might be a little crappier because it's not as premium and forward facing because they want to push the new thing, but at least you still have access to online and you can play games or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like there's ways to do that they really didn't even, I'm not gonna say they didn't look into because I don't know what they do. Yeah. And again, they are a multi-billion-dollar company, which tells me that they're not stupid. So I'm sure they looked down this avenue and maybe it just wasn't feasible. But yeah, I don't know. There's got to be something we could do because this can't keep happening.
Yeah, I wonder if like, I don't know. I don't have a ton of hope because they don't have a great track record. But I do. There's a little bit of me. It's like I hope this means that we'll get. And unfortunately, it's probably that's the thing. It's a double-edged sword because what I'm about to say, I'm like, oh man, I hope that means like we start seeing things like some of these things added to the Nintendo Switch, like kind of like how they have right now the classic console collections or whatever. Like you can play NES, you can play. It's like, all right, okay, cool. Like with Switch 2 coming out next year, like now's your chance to add GameCube and add Wii and Wii U and add like some of these like the newer retro consoles kind of thing, you know, or not classic consoles or whatever they want to call them, the new generation of the classic consoles, and give us access that way. But what's realistically going to happen is like they're just going to continue to keep porting things and charging you more money for it. And it's like that's the sad truth is like they just want more opportunities to make money so they can easily port things to new consoles. Even though you own it for the old one, they're going to be like, nah, here, buy it on the new one and you can play online now. You gotta spend $60 for this game. And it's like, well, that sucks.
Thanks. I love it.
But I don't know. That's my hope and dream is like, all right, we've gotten from NES all the way up to Game Boy Advance on Switch. Now with Switch 2 coming out next year, it's like, all right, here's their chance to wrap up the rest of their slate with like, give us the GameCube Virtual Console, give us a Wii, Wii U, 3D, give us a DS, 3DS, all those classic consoles. But we'll see. We'll see what happens over there.
No, I agree. I honestly, it's if I had a chance to run the show, I feel like it would. I would have every Nintendo published game on that service. Right, the games that we published are going to be there. You know, I don't care if we had to pay somebody to do it or pay somebody for the rights to blah, 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 whatever. Figure it out. Because if this is our preservation, if this is our history, then we should put everything that we made on there for people to access, right? 100%. That was the whole point of Virtual Console is to be a virtual console, a virtual version of our old stuff that you can go back and play.
Hey, we don't want you to pirate things. Awesome. We don't want you to pirate things, so we're going to offer it for sale here. And everyone said, right, okay, cool. Like, that's great. You know, like...
I don't understand why Nintendo's... Well, I think Nintendo Switch Online was a dumb name to call the service anyway. They should have called it Nintendo Online as an umbrella. Yeah. And then they could have called the service that they're doing now Virtual Console, and it still would have made sense. It just would have been a Virtual Console app. Yeah. And then you can add all these little emulators that they have, all these little apps that they have clogging up your home screen could just be inside Virtual Console.
That's the one thing I hate the most.
Yeah, and then you can go and pick which one you want to play.
Yeah.
Why not just do it like that? Then when the new thing comes out, you know, Nintendo, whatever the next system is, you'll just say, hey, Nintendo Online is going to be on that. Yeah. Done. But now you call it Nintendo Switch Online, so that tells me now you can only call systems Nintendo Switch from now on.
And when they stop,
unless you're going to,
you know, you only have a few years before they're phasing it out, and then you can't get your games anymore again. It's like, no, all my digital games are gone.
I don't know, man.
It's sad. I mean, it's like one of those things like, all right, we knew the time was coming eventually. Like it does with everything. Like they're not the only ones. Xbox does it, PlayStation does it, but it's still just, I don't know, for some of those games, like there's still such a huge audience for it. It's like, at least, especially on 3DS, like 3DS is still very popular.
Booming.
But
I mean, I've seen just before we go,
yeah.
I've seen articles online that people are already starting up their own servers. I think it's called Pretendo or something like that, where basically you have to modify your hardware, but it's some software that they put on there where basically you get a brand new friend code and they redirect all your network traffic that Nintendo would usually have you to go to that server.
Okay.
And it makes it feel as though you are just hopping online. Like there's no weird software or anything, or no like I have to go in and put in the hacker code. It's like, no, it just takes your antenna, for lack of a better term, takes it from Nintendo and turns it over to Pretendo servers.
Right.
And then it just plays just like it always did. And if that's the case, I am 100% signing up for that.
As long as it's safe and secure and they're not going to steal my information. Yeah, that sounds great.
What information do you have on your 3DS? Your name?
You'd be surprised. That's where I keep a list of all my social security numbers for my family. Just kidding.
You keep it folded up in the 3DS, like there's a little slip of paper.
No, in the notes app on 3DS, I have
in
the Picto chat.
I used to love that little notes app. I would write all my little my Animal Crossing villagers' birthdays in there so I could keep track of them.
That's awesome. Oh man, yeah. Rest in peace. Online services. Another one bites the dust.
You did good, kid. You did good.
You did. You done good. All right. Well, that is it. Hang on real quick. The only true Tallulah over on YouTube says, LOL, all the diaries of Garrett are on the 3DS. Yeah, all my deepest, darkest
His diary is there.
I love that.
Where the money's buried, it's all in different notes.
Exactly. When I die, I'm just going to leave my kids are going to find the old 3DS. And there's like this cryptic scavenger hunt sending them around the world.
Find the charger.
It's like trying to find national treasure, but it's just like, yeah, a box with a charger. You have 24 hours before this battery's dead. Find it. Oh, man. All right. That's it for the nerdy nudes. Now it is time to go on to our Patreon ad.
Let's do it.
This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1, and you get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. That's right, if you're missing it on Monday evenings when we live record it on Twitch and YouTube, you can get it right after the show. I edit it up and get it sent out over to you, both audio and video format. So if you want that right away, think about supporting us over on Patreon, just $1. And that way you don't have to wait until Wednesday, and you don't have to listen to this ad right now. You can skip right over it. I skip over it for you. The one I uploaded is already cut out, so you don't have to listen. You can also support us at the $5 a month level. You get this, that previous perk, as well as show notes early. That's right, Sunday evening or afternoon. It's more like the afternoon. Sunday afternoon, I write up the show notes for the show. You can see all of the news stories, the listener questions, the games we've been playing. You can get a little sneak peek what we're going to be talking about here on the show. So if you want a little behind the scenes access and the ability to leave comments on the show notes. So if there's something that you have your own 2 cents you want to throw in there, go ahead and leave that right on the dock. That way we can read that on air here. If there's a game you've been playing, if you have thoughts on the listener questions or the nerdy news, whatever it might be, leave your comments right there on the show notes on the Google Doc, and then we can read it live here on the air. It's best for those folks who aren't able to, again, join us. As you've noticed probably on the podcast, we reference the chat a lot because we are live. But if you're not able to make it live, support us $5 a month, and then you can again have your voice heard here without having to be here on Monday nights. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor where you get all those previous perks and big ol' shout out at the top of each and every episode. And then there's the top dog tier, a Patreon producer. That's right, $15 a month, and you can get all those previous perks and the ability to pitch us a show segment. So if you have an idea for us to do, whether it's like Adrian used to do Super Indie Boys segments. We have the Kajoma's Card Game Corner, which you can catch on our social media over on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts with our Patreon producer Kajoma, talking about trading card games. In the past, we've done some fun ones, Losing Reviews, Tall Tales of JJ, all sorts of wacky and wild segments we've done through the years. All been brought to you by our Patreon producers. So if you have a fun little segment idea, think about supporting us over there. $15 a month. Pitch us a segment, and if we like it and it's not gonna get us canceled, we will give it a shot. And even if we give it a shot and it almost gets us canceled, it'll probably get canceled very quickly as well, as is what happened with Tall Tales of JJ. Didn't last long, but boy, was it an interesting run. We vet things a lot more now, especially when you just never know which direction the segment might go. So support us over there, patreon.com/supergamerboys. We'd appreciate it very much. Next, you can support us by going to sgbstore.com. That's right, buy some merch over there. sgbstore.com, buy our hats, buy our shirts, buy our sweatshirts, buy our stickers, buy our coffee mugs. We got it all over there. Lots of goodies. If you want to rep our show, or it's your best friend's birthday coming up and you can't figure out what to get them, buy him a Super Gamer Boys coffee mug. Everyone drinks fluids. Everyone drinks liquids. Adrian's looking at me funny. Everyone drinks things, and they need a cup to put it in. So buy our Super Gamer Boys mug for them, for your best friend, for their birthday. What's the look for, Adrian? You don't drink fluids?
All I heard was everyone drinks fluids. When I came back,
they do.
I'm curious as to what you're alluding to. Like what? Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Everyone drinks fluids. Everyone drinks liquids, water.
They do, but you could have said everybody loves a good drink, or everybody, I don't know, something. Everyone drinks fluids. Yes.
And everyone needs a vessel to put those fluids in. So good Super Gamer Boys coffee mug, sgbstore.com. Get yours today. Buy it for your best friend's birthday. And they'll love it. They'll put all their fluids in it. Last but not least, you can also support us over on Twitch. If you're watching at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and you have an Amazon Prime account, you have one free Amazon Prime subscription. That's just wasting away. Jeff Bezos is putting that $5 right in his pocket and going and building spaceships or something. Right? Isn't that what he's doing now? He's trying to compete with Elon Musk. I don't know. Whatever he's doing with the money. Whatever he's doing with the money. I don't care
what rich people are doing, dude. I got too much. I got my own bills to worry about. Those things they don't have? Yeah, I gotta deal with those.
Right. So if you don't want him taking your money and shooting it into space, think about coming over here to twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. You can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and use your free Prime gaming subscription over here. Cost you $0. We get Jeff Bezos' $5. So think about supporting us over there. We'd very much appreciate it. With that, let's move on to the rest of the show. All right, we are back from the ad break. Real quick to give a teaser to all you Patreon folks, because sometimes it's good to skip the ads because they're boring, but sometimes funny stuff happens. Here's a teaser for you Patreon folks who missed the ad. The Only True Tallulah over on YouTube commented and said, "Clearly the fluids are milk and juice together in the Super Gamer Boys mug." And that's all I'm going to say. We're not going to give any more context. And if you want to hear more, you got to listen to the ad, Patreon subscribers. We've got you.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
With that, Adrian, what you playing? Your
I
turn.
can't even think about it. Oh man. Okay. Woo. So as I said at the top of the show, I recently I got my PS5. I got another one. I got the Slim. Aesthetically, I still hate it. I think it's really ugly. And I thought the PS5 wasn't a looker, but it looks a lot better than this.
You need to get.
But you know what?
You need to get
the job done.
You need to get
the plates aren't gonna help. Don't say the plates are gonna help. They're not gonna help. It's just a bad design.
No. Don't get the Sony plates. Get the dark plate, because the dark plates one, in order for them to legally sell them, they had to make the design different. So that's what I'm telling you. Like that's.
I know, and it has the little slope down on it instead of just a popped out collar. It doesn't matter. It's ugly regardless.
All right.
It's a badly shaped. Look, man, I'm telling you, I went, and I know you. It's industrial design. It's not graphic design. I went to school for design. Don't look good, okay? Don't look good. All right. So,
man. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, but regardless, outside of that, played a few things. I started the director's cut of Death Stranding.
Ooh, baby.
Oh man, that game is just it's absolutely stunning.
So good.
Oh, top to bottom, dude.
10 out of 10.
I forgot in the very beginning when you do that first walk. You know what I'm talking about, when you're going to see Die Hardman for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And the music starts playing when you're out in the field. Oh,
that's one of my favorite things about that game is there's actually very little soundtrack to a lot of the game. Like it's very, like when there's cutscenes and story beats, there's music. But like generally when you're out in the wild hiking, there's no music. It's just like you and nature, virtual nature. Like it's not real. So we're all unique. When a lot of you still need to go out and touch some grass once in a while, but it gets you pretty, but it gets you pretty close. And what I love though is how seamlessly and how perfectly it fits both story wise and even like just with like the scenery you're in. Cause there's a lot of different, like for a lack of a better term, biomes and, environments within Death Stranding. It's like, oh, are you up in the high mountains? Is it snowy? Is it more desert? Is it more whatever?
Right.
And I always love how the music kicks in and it just like blends perfectly into like the environment that you're in and just like really he did such a good job picking, and it's all Low Roar songs. Incredible artist. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And the way they just so seamlessly fit into the environment and then like perfectly push whatever that part of the story is, and like the feeling maybe in that moment and the loneliness and like I love it. I had never heard of Low Roar before that game, and they're like one of my top artists now. Beyond even the Death Stranding soundtrack, like I've come to love like his whole like discography. So if you have not listened to Low Roar, go check them out. But it's crazy how wildly good it fits into the game, especially since the songs weren't made for the game, if that makes sense. Like those songs existed before the game came out, but Kojima like worked with them and picked out just
these
the
are Death Stranding
ones.
songs
and
now,
I'm like,
actually.
oh yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, these songs seem like they were kind of perfect for Death Stranding. Like it was almost like too good. So yeah, absolutely. Sorry to derail,
no,
but I
good.
was just like,
you're good.
That's one of my favorite things about Death Stranding is like how the music, when you're just coming up over to the crest of a hill, you see the city in the distance, you're almost there, and the music is just like emotionally charged, just like bringing me home. Yeah, so good.
Now, I have been, for comparison's sake, I have been playing, or I did play Death Stranding on my phone for a little while, which I will never take away. The fact that Death Stranding is running on a phone is a technological wonder. I do not know how Kojima was able to get that going, 100%. But going from a small, scaled down phone version to the full, like, dynamic 4K, just fully textured. I mean, you know what I mean? With especially the 3D audio,
the director's
and the headphones
cut too,
and everything. Yeah. So going to that, it's like night and day. And I'm not saying that disparagingly to the phone port. Like I said, I think it has its place. I can't wait to see, in the next couple of years, what mobile devices are going to be able to do as far as running games, if they're running them games like this now.
Yeah.
But just having that full fat, uncompromised Death Stranding experience was it was amazing, dude. It felt like playing it for the first time.
So, I have not actually played through the entirety of the director's cut. So like they added like there's like a car racing section they added. I haven't played that yet, and I haven't played they actually added like sneaking missions with a sound. They actually wrote a whole new like soundtrack that's very, very similar to the Metal Gear Solid soundtrack.
Metal Schmear.
And I'm like, oh baby, I need to do that. So it's like I need to get through that at some point, but I just have too many other games right now. But man, I'm excited for you. That's so good. I'm glad you have a PS5 now.
I also started up Spider-Man 2.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it came with the PlayStation, so I basically got that game for free.
Yeah.
Because when I got the unit, it was on discount.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I'm not mad at that. That game is amazing. I don't know where this like revisionist history came from, and you know what I think it is? I think Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 have the God of War problem and the Tears of the Kingdom problem, where the how should I say it? The majority market, or the casual gamer, I guess, or mainstream gamer, mainstream audience, they just see it as, oh, well, this is the same thing over again. You know, well, where this isn't necessarily the same. It's an extension of the first game, per se.
Okay.
Right? It's the next chapter of this whole story. It's not Spider-Man 1 again. It's the next chapter of the Spider-Man story, just like it is for God of War. This isn't God of War over again. It's the next part of the whole God of War story. It's all one big thing.
Yeah.
And I think I see, and before I got my hands on it, I saw a lot of people were saying, oh man, it's just, I don't know, something about it. It's not as good as the first one and blah, 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 blah. It's not as good as Miles, blah, blah. No way, dude. This game is better than those technologically.
Sorry, I'm waving to the raid. What's up, raid? We just got raided by Super Best David. How's it going?
Oh man.
How's it going?
Good evening, everybody. You're here a little bit before the tail end, so welcome. Okay. You made it.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2. I need to play that because I mean I haven't heard too many negative things about it. Like I know, and I'm sure it's out there, kind of the revisionist history. Because I know initially when it came out, everyone was high on it. But yeah, same thing. Like you gave perfect examples of like God of War, Ragnarok, and what was the other example you gave? Where it's just like, yeah, after Zelda, yeah, after a couple months after like Tears of the Kingdom came out, even people were like, well, this is kind of more of the same. It's like, all right, well, I don't know. A couple months ago, you were singing its praises from the.
You were saying it was right. It was the best thing since sliced bread. So, which one is it? Can we finally come out and admit that Tears of the Kingdom sucks? Like, bro, shut up.
All right, calm down.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is one of those that I've mainly heard positive things, and I would love to play it. I want to check it out so bad. But so I'm glad one of us is, because when it came out, yeah, neither one of us covered it and talked about it. It's like, all right, it's about time we actually jumped into this and talked about this game here.
I've only done up to the first boss so far, which is like the introduction. And holy cow, if this game keeps up this caliber, like I've seen the overarching story, but I haven't gotten to actually put my hands on it and experience it. So it's been a little while. But if this game keeps this pace up, man, Spider-Man 2018 was an excellent game, as was Miles. And I think this one is going to be better than both of them. So good. I'll keep you posted on that one. And then my last thing before I turn it over.
Yeah.
Is it's not a what you're playing yet.
Ooh.
It's a what will you be playing. And so I have been debating on this literally for years now. I've been going back and forth, him and Han. Garrett knows. I've mentioned it in conversation and in the Discord and on other episodes. And I have finally made the jump. Your boy got an analog pocket.
Oh,
give it up,
baby. You did it.
Let's go.
You did the impossible, Adrian.
I did it.
Impossible. That was absolutely wild that you got your hands on one of those, because those are for years now. Like sell out immediately.
They fly. Every time they get restocked, they fly. So just for people who aren't clued in, the Analog Pocket, Analog basically makes premium high-end, what would you say, homages, or like, I guess a today's versions of older hardware.
It's older
right?
hardware.
So,
Like it plays the older hardware natively, but it's beautiful. It looks like
Right.
It looks like a brand new like console design today. Like they take design to a whole nother, they're just like Panic with the Play Date. Like design is almost first and foremost. But what's also great is a very close second is like quality, as far as like it's not even emulating. It's native hardware, so it's like So
yeah, it's basically if this company it takes on the challenge of, if you made a Game Boy today, with today's hardware, what would it look like? What features would it have? You know, all that from top to bottom. And Analog is known for having a premium experience from top to bottom. So from the software to the hardware, it all kind of works together. And the Analog Pocket is basically the Game Boy, right? They have one that they had a Super Nintendo one. They had a Sega Genesis one. They're coming out with one for the N64, I think, in the near future.
I think so. I think it's all that.
Yeah. Are you gonna buy it on that one?
Probably not, because I mean, as I've talked about on the show before, I wasn't an N64 kid, never grew up. So for me, it's not a nostalgia thing. It would be cool to get, but then it's like, all right, then you gotta buy the games, and games are expensive, you know. So
That's
it's
fair.
like probably not. Like if I was gonna bite on any of them, it would be the Analog Pocket, because that's what I was into. But I know all of their stuff. I just scroll through their website. I'm like, everything is just so pretty. It all just looks so nice. Like I just want all of it just because it looks cool. They're
Well, thankfully,
I
I still have all my old Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games. So this is right up the alley for me to be able to just pop a cartridge in and
does it play GBA?
Get to playing? Huh? Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Like, does it need like an adapter or something, or does it? Okay.
Nope. Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance work out of the box.
That's
no adapter needed, no nothing.
I was just thinking because like GBA cartridges were shorter. So is it just like the cartridge slot is shorter or something like that?
No, it's the same slot. It just they all share the same pins.
Right, I know, but like I guess I need to look at a picture of the back of it, because in my head I'm like, the GBA cartridge is this tall and the GBA cartridge is this tall. So it's like they need to.
Right.
So I guess whatever, I need to figure out how to.
I can show you.
I'll have to look at a picture. I'll look at a picture. I'll figure it out later. I'll do my own research. I know how to use Google.
So basically, they let you use your original Game Boy cartridges to play on this system, and the screen is a literal 10 times improvement on the screen image quality of the original Game Boy. So
yeah, that's the one thing with like the screen quality is absolutely insane. As the ability to, I mean, you got it with the dock, right? So you can output to a TV at like, does it do 4K or is it just 1080p?
It's 1080p, but it's whatever software that they use to do the individual pixels or make it look as sharp as it does, it can output that to the TV. So you already know as soon as it comes in. Tuesdays will never be the same.
You're gonna be streaming your whole Game Boy catalog here.
Are you kidding? From top to bottom, brother. Oh, I can't wait. You'll never have to ask me what we're streaming again. Just know it's gonna be some kind of a Game Boy game, okay?
It's amazing. So good.
So yeah, I'm stoked. I believe it should be here this week.
Ooh, baby.
It said 5 to 7 days.
I mean, that's what their original tweet was, is like that, right? When they announced that pre-orders are going live, I thought it was like, hey, it's in warehouse, like ready to ship. Like that's so
I got the notification that they already shipped it, so it's in FedEx's hands now.
Yeah. So it should definitely be there by the end of the week then.
Yeah. So
it's exciting.
But yeah,
well, although it is
posted.
FedEx sucks. So
that's the other thing. Yeah, FedEx sucks.
They're the worst.
So we'll see. We will see if it comes. It's supposed to. Analog did their job. They gave it to FedEx. Now I'm just waiting on FedEx to do their job, right? But yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait to dig into it. It's nice that I can finally retire my SP. It has been my road dog for literally, 20 years at this point, almost 20 years at this point. So, it's nice to be able to put it on the shelf and let it, enjoy its golden years. And now I got something that, is leaps and bounds ahead of it, but still gives me that same experience. So I'm looking forward to this could potentially be my, always in my bag thing,
So good. So great.
Yeah.
Cool.
But enough about me, good sir. What have you been playing?
Oh boy, I've been playing more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is now my off-stream game. I mean, it already was my off-stream game, and now it's really my off-stream game. And the reason I decided to stop streaming it is because I was like, man, I'm playing so much off-stream. It doesn't seem fair to the viewers.
Because you don't want to see everybody watching you trying to hit on Tifa?
All right.
Tell the truth.
Okay. I mean...
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Anyways,
you don't want them to see your failed attempts, huh? When she shuts you down.
Oh, I got maximum relationship status with Tifa. Don't you worry. We got
sure you do.
We got all the outfits in Costa del Sol. Let me tell you.
Open up your screenshots folder right now. I need to see it.
Never. But yeah, it turned into something where it's just like, I was playing so much off stream. I'm like, it's not fair to the viewer when they tune in and they're like, wait, now we're like 15 hours later. Like, what happened? Like from week to week. So I was like, all right, I need to figure this out. So anyways, giving a quick update on 7, I am, I'm a good chunk. I think I've touched 30 hours now, and I don't even think I'm halfway, but I'm basically 100%ing it so far. Like any side quest, I'm doing all the Queen's Blood tournaments. I'm doing everything I could possibly do before I move on to the next area. I'm doing.
Okay.
And let me tell you,
if you're 100. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I'm loving.
If you're 100%ing it, you're not even close. 30 hours is nothing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like 120 if you want 100% it. Like, so good luck.
Yeah, I am loving it to death. I've seen other people talk about the game, and I think I mentioned this on a previous episode too. And they talk about like, oh, all this bloat, like it's too much stuff. I see people online on Twitter like, this sucks. Like I just want to play the game, blah blah blah. Like why is it all this extra side stuff? So stupid, like boring. Let me tell you, this is 100% up my alley. Like I am loving it. Like I spent like, I don't know. I love Queen's Blood so much. I've already talked about this a lot on this show. I love Queen's Blood, but there's a section where this is light spoilers. There's a section where you can't move on to the game without playing through a Queen's Blood tournament. All right. Sorry if that ticks you off for spoiling that, but
don't you have to beat Tifa or something?
And so there's like a whole tournament section, and let me tell you, that was like my favorite part that I've played in a long time, because I'm like, all the Queen's Blood, all the Queen's Blood.
Dork.
Oh, it's so good. But then even all the side stories, because for me, like I don't know these characters. I've only just learned about them in Remake. Like I never played the original one, and so doing a lot of the side quest. The reason to do the side quest is to enhance your relationship status with everyone. So like each area almost has, not every area, but most areas, like they have side quests for each character. So like, oh, I can better my relationship with Red 13. I can better my relationship with Tifa and with Aerith and Barrett and the whole crew with Yuffie. And so it's it's one of those things where it's been fantastic going through those, because then you get to in game you're building relationships with all the characters, but also like for me as the player, I'm like, oh, I'm learning about these people's stories and who they are and what they care about, and building that bond. So I don't know, I've been loving it. I think it's fantastic. I'm loving all the quote unquote bloat. Like give it to me, like give me more of this world. It's a gorgeous world. It looks great, feels great, plays great. So far nothing, like to me, the times when I've been most annoyed with the game are actually there's almost like in between areas in order to get you from one area to the next. They've actually done it like twice now, where you have to go through like a mine area, and it's just like, oh, the only reason we're doing this is because like you need to figure out how to get me from point A to point B, so we're going through, we're going to go down the mines again. I'm like, this sucks. Like this is the most annoying part.
Like the train yard in the first game.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, it's happened twice now. And because there's no side quest. The reason it sucks is because this has been the same both times, kind of like a very similar feel to the areas. So it's like, all right, like graphics wise, it's not like impressive. And then there's no side quests in the areas because again, the point of it is just to get you from point A to point B. So I'm like, oh, I want to do side quests. Really, this is just a transitional period and it's kind of boring. But again, that's like 2 hours out of my 30. That's been bad. And even then, it's not bad. It's just like, all right, here we go again, going through another mine. Like, whatever. So this game is amazing. Rebirth is incredible. I'm excited to put another 100 hours in this game. Like,
dude, what is it about? Because I feel like this is another victim of that, of what we were just talking about, right? The part 2 of the whole story. Everybody says, oh, it's just more of the same thing.
It's not. It's so different than Remake, but yeah, it's just true. People are saying that, or they're either saying that, or they're saying they're just like, oh, there's too much and it's so boring. It's just, extra junk.
Weren't people just crying about, oh, you had to pay $60 for a game and they don't really, you can finish it in 6 hours. Now they give you something that is the complete opposite of that. Now it's too much.
Too much.
Which is it? Which is it?
Can't make everyone happy, unfortunately, but for me, I am very happy. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, incredible game. But
I'm stoked to start it.
Thursday stream game, which was voted on by the people. I started out with like 5 or 6 games on Discord. They narrowed it down to 2.
Let's go!
I brought those 2 games over to Twitter, let the Twitterverse do a vote for a week. And the game that we came up with was
we did it, boys!
Kingdom Hearts 2. That's right. I've been playing, or I just started this last Thursday, Kingdom Hearts 2. Put about 2.5 hours into it. Let me tell you, I'm ready for the game to start.
I checked out of the last stream you were at. Where did you end at?
I mean, I'm still just doing like the.
Are you still Roxas?
Yeah, I'm still Roxas doing the Groundhog Day loop thing. Not really. It's not Groundhog Day. It's not the same day, but you know what I mean. Where it's just like he wakes up. I think I'm like day 5 or 6 now, so I'm getting close. I feel like to getting out of there. Maybe I don't know. I hope. It's one of those things where like I fought through the tournament. I beat the dude at the end. And then I even like broke out of the Matrix for a little bit where I was fighting some stuff, and then now I'm back in it. And that's the whole thing. I think why I'm getting bored with it too is like within like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is the Matrix kind of thing, quote unquote. Like this is like some other like internal universe. Like I'm obviously like an avatar.
Yes, 30-something-year-old man. Yes, you figured out the story to this children's game.
I'm an avatar for Sora, and
you're Joe. You're pulling my leg. No way.
I'm just ready. Like, all right, I get it. Like they're trying to be all continue on this whole thing, and I'm like, all right, like let's move on here.
It is cryptic for 12-year-olds, dude.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I was a dumb 12-year-old. So yeah, that's all. I immediately like I think as soon as the game fired up, all I did was move the analog stick. I think I just moved in a circle. You were there, and I was like, whoa, yep. This immediately feels better. Like I just like hit forward on the analog stick. I'm like, oh, it reacted immediately. Like there was no like wind up. There was no like lag. Like the jumps felt good. I'm like, there's no delay. There's no weird like everything is snappy. Everything feels good. I mean, even though like, right off the bat too, one of the mini games, like, oh, you got to save up, make some money. There's like a skateboard game. And I'm like, this actually feels good. Like I was anticipating this being like really annoying. I'm like, oh, I would be fine if there's like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater segment of Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, give me a whole skateboarding segment because honestly, that felt great. So there's already a lot of big upgrades. I mean, even graphically, things are looking a little better. It's still PS2, but it's amazing the drastic change from Kingdom Hearts 1 to 2. Again, well, and these are remasters too. But still, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 remaster looks graphically better than the Kingdom Hearts 1 remaster because that's what I played before.
Kingdom Hearts 2 itself did look a lot better than 1.
Yeah,
back in the day.
So looks better, feels better, plays better. Story wise, I'm just ready for something to happen. Like I talk about that all the time on this show and anytime. It's like what draws me in is a good story. A game can have pretty crappy gameplay as long as it has a great story that sucks me in, like I'm in. But if it doesn't suck me in, fast enough, then I can drop off. And so I'm really hoping and I'm sure it will. Like I need to give it time. I'm still in like the tutorial area. I'm kind of like the wind up here. But I was like, all right, let me loose. I'm ready. Like I'm sick of doing this Groundhog Day thing, like waking up, hanging out with my friends, going to bed, waking up, hanging out with my friends, going to bed. Let me get out there and fight some Disney characters. I want to beat up like Winnie the Pooh or something.
Can I give you a carrot at least?
All right, give it to me.
What day did you say you're on?
I want to say 5 or 6.
You're close.
Okay. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's at least that.
To the next event getting ready to pop off.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And freaking Christopher Lee is a voice of like he was a character from Rechain of Memories, which I did not play, but I watched a overview video of the story of that. In that video they never played his voice, like it was just like text or whatever on screen. So to hear I'm like Count Dooku, what? What is happening? And then who's the other guy was Quentin Flynn, Raiden. I'm like, that's Raiden. That's Raiden's voice. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
I am in. Oh man. So
Stay with it, dude. I'm telling you, man, this game rules.
So yeah, the plan here is tune in Thursdays to watch me beat up some Disney characters. It's gonna be a grand old time.
Yep, that's exactly what the game is. 100%.
Oh man. All right. Well, that is it for this week. This has been a long one, but it's been a good one. Feel good about tonight. Feel good about this one. I hope you are too, listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether it was live on Monday night over on YouTube or Twitch. Or is later on podcast services and youtube.com/supergamerboys. Thank you so much. Also, huge thank you to our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. You guys are fantastic, and you help keep this train a-rolling. So if you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there. We'd appreciate it. Big preach, as they say on the street. Right, Adrian? Is that what the kids say these days? Kids say big preach.
Yes. That is what the children are saying.
Right, Lula?
I have no idea what young people are talking about.
Lula's in the chat. She's younger than me. They say big preach, right? That's the word.
I play games where you clean up houses. You think I know what kids are into?
Spiffy, he backs me up in the chat. He says big preach, no cap on G, no kiss, for real. I hope I didn't say anything bad right then. I don't know what any of that means.
It's too late. It's already on wax. You can't take it back now.
I should not have read that out on air because I have no idea what any of that means. Oh no, I'm canceled now, aren't I? You can also support us by going to sgbstore.com, buy some sweet merch. Remember, if you want something to put your fluids in, buy that coffee mug. sgbstore.com. We got mugs. We also got awesome crew neck sweatshirts and hoodies, I guess, if that's your thing. But I'm partial to the crew neck. It's nice and soft and cozy. We got t-shirts, stickers for your water bottle, whatever, your laptop. Slap them anywhere. Go to your nearest traffic sign and slap it on there. I don't care what you do with it. Just
do it.
Just do it. Just tag whatever you can with it. And rate and review us where you can, over on iTunes, over on Spotify. We would very much appreciate that. Shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music here on the show. Today, you are listening to Jack Sriracha and Yate. Remember to go check out those links in the show description on podcast apps and YouTube. You can find it links to Spotify and Apple Music. We'd appreciate it if you went and showed them some love. Find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
All right, and that's all I got. I need to move on because I drank a whole energy drink and I am feeling jittery. I don't know if you've noticed. I've been moving a lot. It's not because I have to pee.
Oh, no, I see you.
It's because I'm the caffeine's getting to me. I'm super amped up.
And you chose to drink it at 10 at night. Good job.
I need to go run around the block. I feel like I'm
well, you know what? Fine. Let me get us out of here then so you can go on and get on your jog.
All right.
Folks, thank you for hanging out with us for another week of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As Garrett mentioned earlier, we always appreciate anybody who will come and hang out with us while we talk shop about video games and what's going on in the industry. And we could not do what we do here without you and your support. Again, any support, even if it's just telling your uncle's friend who works at Nintendo, not your uncle that works at Nintendo, your uncle's friend that works at Nintendo, about the podcast.
That's more common.
Any and every little bit of word of mouth helps. Yeah. I guess it's common.
Everyone's uncle's friend works at Nintendo.
No, everyone's uncle works at Nintendo, not their uncle's friend. But anyway,
I think it's the other
even
way.
if it's your uncle or your uncle's friend, we appreciate you regardless. And until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop. Woo!
Oh yeah, you got a lot. I was gonna say you got a lot of energy. You better get up and get running. Go on.
Let's go.
Put on your shoes. Get out the door.
Get out of here.